Let's go next to Christina from Denmark, one of my favorite places I've ever visited, Denmark. Christina, welcome to the program. What's on your mind today?
Well, I've been listening about a year and a half.
Thank you. Christina, tell me, I haven't been to Denmark for a few years. Is a random sandwich still $25?
Yeah, I think so.
Very good. All right.
No, a little less, I think.
At least, okay, fair enough.
I've been thinking, are the schools in the States so bad that you get all these people who are not, who doesn't know anything?
You're saying by the time they're adults, they don't know anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
why don't they know anything?
Well, here's the thing, Christina. Here's the thing. In the United States, there are some of the best schools in the world, and there are some of the worst schools in the world. And this is really the story of the United States. You know, it's very simple to say, oh, healthcare is terrible in the United States. Education is terrible in the United States. The real question is, for whom and where? Because the truth is, for a certain group, those with the financial means, you can get the best healthcare in the world and the best education in the world and the best neighborhoods in the world in the United States. And for others, you have some of the worst schools around and terrible access to healthcare, such that you can see 20-year differences in life expectancy in neighboring neighborhoods. So it's more complicated than just is education bad? It is absolutely the case that educational standards in much of the country are a disaster. Students aren't being taught critical thinking. They're not learning basic math. They can barely read out loud. I just saw something. This is a little bit of an aside, Christina, but I saw somebody say that, you know, on dating profiles, people should put up a video of themselves reading out loud so that you don't have to waste your time with somebody who's so dim-witted they can't even read out loud. I found it a little bit judgmental, but the point here is there is such a range of what the educational system will give you. Inequality is more the story for me in education than it is just it's terrible.
Well, I'm glad I've been married for 27 years now.
Right. And why is that? In that, how does that relate to the education piece?
Then I don't need to go on Tinder or something.
Oh, I see.
On a dating profile.
You don't have to go on a dating profile and see if they know how to read out loud. Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
Christina, thank you. Things are well in Denmark overall?
Everything is well. We have free healthcare, free schools, free everything.
Right.
So everything's great.
I follow a few American content creators who have moved to Denmark, and they seem to be having a great time. Hey, last thing, Christina, when I was there, I had there's sort of like open-faced toasts with different toppings like pickled herring and different things. What's the name of those toasts generically?
It's called smørrebrød.
Right.
It means butter on bread.
Butter on bread. Beautiful. All right. Yeah. Well, listen, I hope to get back there very soon, okay?
Yeah, we hope so too.
All right. Christina, thank you very much. And I trust Denmark will be waiting for me with open arms for my triumphant return. It really is a great country. I have to tell you, folks, I am not kidding around with that. Let's go next to Ford from Arizona. Ford, welcome to the David Pakman Show. What's on your mind today?
Hello, David. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You sound a little bit muddled, like you're underwater, but that's okay. We're going to go with it, okay?
All right, man. If you can't hear me, just say so. But I like to say that I'm like a very hardcore American, you know. I like guns, barbecue, military. I'm in the Marine Corps Reserves, just to tell you. But what really irks me about the right wing and their love for and like their apologism towards Russia. I was talking to someone the other day on Twitter, and I told them about like how Russia has the lowest has the lowest birth rate, high divorce rate, and high abortion rate. You can't even own guns legally there. And they were going on the ass about like Ukrainian Nazis and dark
Okay, let's.
bad
So
language.
when you swear, we have to bleep it. So it's better for us if you don't. Now, let me ask you a question. When you say the lowest birth rate, I'm not seeing that Russia has the lowest birth rate at all. I
Well,
see.
it has a very low birth rate among the post-Soviet countries.
Oh, I see.
That's
The
what I
former
meant.
USSR countries. I gotcha.
Yeah, but
Okay.
and it's very far. It's far from a conservative paradise.
Well, I don't know
I'm
about that. I mean, Russia in a lot culturally, Russia's quite conservative. They've had a sort of authoritarian strongman in power for a very long time, pushing a much of that conservatism into the society. I don't know that. I mean, Russia's pretty conservative as far as I understand.
but it's far from it when you look at the demographics and some of the laws there. Um,
Yeah.
like I said, it has a high divorce rate, very high abortion rate. Even though the government wants to clamp down on it, there's still women getting a lot of abortions.
Okay.
Um,
So,
and
Ford, did
yeah,
you
it's
have
a
a
very low
question
birth
for me
rate.
today?
Yeah, it's like why? So like 8 to 10 years ago, you had the right. They were very staunch supporters of like global intervention, whereas the left, they were a bit more anti-war. And then now all of a sudden the tables have turned. Like, how did that happen? To be honest.
I don't know that it really has turned. I think what you're talking about is that the right's adoption of populist sounding rhetoric has worked. So, for example, when Trump ran on Hillary will bring us into multiple wars and I won't, or something like that, superficially it sounded like a change. As you're pointing out, it used to be that the right wingers wanted to intervene globally and the left wingers did not. The truth is, of course, much more complicated. And Trump was using the populist rhetoric totally divorced from actual foreign policy. Because remember, when Trump got in, he was like, maybe we could bomb Europe. Should we invade Mexico? What about doing something to Iran? Let's get out of the Iran deal. The actual ideas he wanted to carry out when he became president were extremely hawkish, and reports are that people around him talked him out of it. But what's happened is there's been a change in the rhetoric where right wingers have started saying we're against interventions and whatever, but they're against interventions that they don't like and they're for the ones that they do. I don't think there's been a real change on policy.
Well, what really interests me, and this is another question, is like during the Obama administration, they were talking about Obamacare, government-run healthcare, socialism. Government shouldn't spend money on its own citizens. Citizens should pull themselves up by their bootstraps. And then all of a sudden, Ukraine happens. They keep going up about blowing smoke up people's behinds about, oh, we need to spend money on our own citizens. What about Maui? It's weird.
Of
They
course,
were
it's
saying
weird.
it's socialism. They were saying it's socialism, but now you actually care about putting money towards citizens.
Yeah.
Like, what?
These are understandable frustrations with the right. Listen, Ford, I have to ask, you say you're a hardcore American and military and all this stuff. I'm curious, are you from the United States originally?
Oh, I'm from Central Asia.
It's very
Mainly.
interesting. How does a guy from Central Asia become like a hardcore military American right winger? That doesn't seem like a typical path.
You know who the Turkic peoples are, David,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Right. We conquered a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
We view the Mongols as our blood brothers. And, when I look at the United States and its huge military industrial complex, provided there are a lot of problems, like that woman from Denmark said, I'm not a blind. I'm not an ass. I'm not, sorry. I'm not blind. I'm not a complete doofus. I can understand problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see America has a lot more in common with the old nomad warlords of old.
Hmm.
You know, you may find it weird, but step in my shoes and you'll see.
All right. Fair enough. Well, listen, Ford, I appreciate the call. Okay.
I'm sorry for swearing. That's my bad.
That's okay. We'll
Can't handle
bleep it. It'll
myself.
be like it never happened. All right. Ford, great to hear from you. Ford from Arizona.